Okay, I see some yays and thumbs up.
Yep. We were just in the middle of talking to Carrie, who is waiting on the other side, and we just wanted to welcome everybody.
The most exciting day ever? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So welcome, guys, to day 8 of the 12 Days of Keto.
Yes.
It's been a long day, but we're super excited to be here.
We just finished 6 services at church.
And
with
snowing
kids.
in the elementary room.
It was snowing in the elementary room. We had almost, I think, 400 children this weekend.
It was just amazing.
I don't know how people don't do keto. How do you have the stamina to live? Seriously.
So, guys, here's what we're going to do. Because we have Carrie on the other line, and that's today's sponsor is Carrie Brown. We're going to be doing some cookbooks. We're going to talk to her a little bit. I'm super excited because I've tried a couple of her recipes, and they're awesome. And I found some new ones that I didn't even know about that I'm really excited to try for Christmas. Like, she's got a jellied cranberry sauce that doesn't require you to have any kind of pectin or anything like that in there. I'm like super excited about that one. So we are going to do the giveaway for yesterday's sponsor, which is Lolly's, and the giveaway is going to be a $30 gift card, so you can go onto her store and pick out whatever you want, and you can tack the coupon code 2krazyketos on top of it for another 10%.
Awesome.
And so then what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Carrie a little bit. So we're going to kind of like let the comments kind of build up, and then we can kind of repeat some of the comments to her.
Yes.
So ready? Let's go ahead and pick the winner for yesterday.
The winner.
Okay, so let's see. We have...
How many people want to try Lolly's?
241 comments from yesterday.
Awesome.
So we're going to go pick a winner. The winner is Dana Cosell.
Dana, congratulations.
And Dana wrote, yet another thing I've been waiting to try, LOL, someday may be my lucky day.
Well, guess what, Dana? Today is your lucky day.
Yep. So,
awesome.
Dana, here's what you need to do. You need to send us an email at 2krazyketos@gmail.com, and we will send out to you, we'll send you the gift card. We'll have Lolly send it to us. The one thing I'm going to just let you know and let everybody know, if you do win, I'm probably going to send you an email back saying, hey, please do us a favor and let me make sure that's muted. Please do us a favor and respond in a certain way, because we've had a few people pretend to be the winner when they weren't really the winner. So we just want to make sure the right person gets it. So we're going to ask you to confirm it, like a 2-step verification program.
Right?
So
we're going to pick which one of these has a car in it.
Yeah.
Which one of these has a Joe in it.
So are you guys ready? We're going to bring on Carrie. So if you don't know who Carrie Brown is, she is an author. She is a cook.
If you don't know, you may be living in a cave.
She's cooked for the Queen of England.
I mean, seriously.
That is just incredible. She's very well known in the keto sphere. She's got some incredible cookbooks, and we're going to bring her on and talk to her a little bit.
Here we go.
So what's going on, Carrie?
Hey.
You two are so funny.
Oh my goodness. My armpits are sweaty. I am so excited to meet you. This is such an honor.
It's just me.
Oh my gosh, but you're the coolest. And you have an entire ice cream cookbook. Like, we could not wait to get that, because
I ordered that, and I ordered one personally signed from Carrie, and I cannot wait to get that because Chris from Keto Chow convinced me to get like one of those ice cream makers that's got the compressor built in so that you don't have to stick it into the freezer. And so I've got that thing sitting, and I use it to make Keto Chow ice cream, but I'm excited to try some of your ice cream recipes out of that book in that machine.
And you know what? Your book is sitting on my kitchen counter, and I hand wrote your address yesterday morning.
Awesome!
Now, can everybody hear Carrie okay? I just want to make sure that everybody can hear Carrie okay, because we've got a bunch of comments. Joe actually says he has the ice cream book. Heather said Carrie is fun to have coffee with.
Yes, I was talking to Heather earlier this week talking about getting to drive with you.
Oh.
Yeah, because you drive everywhere, right?
I drive everywhere. Yeah, as long as it doesn't involve, unless there's a body of water that I cannot get across, yes, I drive everywhere. Driving's awesome. Driving's my favorite thing to do.
I love to drive. Rachel hates to drive. Rachel wants to fly, and I'm like, I just want to drive. I like the control. I like seeing the different areas.
I bounce around in the car so much, I'm like a toddler.
Yeah, my mom lives in New York, so whenever we go visit her, I always want to drive, and it takes about 21 hours, and Rachel's like, no, we got to fly. I'm like, I just don't want to fly. I don't want to fly. I want to drive. I hate being at the mercy of all the airplanes and everything else.
How do you find all the awesome, cute coffee shops if you're on a plane?
That's right.
This is very true.
And how do you meet all your fans and get hugs and sign books and do all that fun stuff if you're on a plane?
Oh my gosh, she's so right.
I actually want to fly to KetoCon this year because last year we flew to KetoCon and we got so much stuff we actually had to like mail it home. Then Rachel got like body searched like coming home too.
I did. Me and the person at TSA are dating now. I'm so excited.
One of the great things about driving, and I drive solo, so I don't have problems with a human next to me flailing because they don't want to be in the car. It's just me. But I've taken my Vitamix on vacation.
But you don't go solo, right? Don't you bring your cats with you?
No.
Oh, I thought you brought your cats with you.
When I moved 20 months ago, I moved from Seattle to Connecticut, and I drove the cats across the top of America.
Oh, okay.
So that and I had 3, and we drove for 5 days and stopped at motels, and I smuggled them into hotels under blankets, and it was very exciting.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And they loved it after the first day. They were like resigned, like, okay, this is apparently our new life.
We live on the road now.
We ride in this thing all day and we stay somewhere new at night, but our mummy and our blanket is there, so it's all good.
Oh, wow. So, Carrie, before we get into some of the different comments, how about telling us a little bit like how useful, because you were a chef before you got into keto, right?
A pastry chef.
That
went
and
keto.
Made desserts for the Queen of England.
All true.
That is just amazing. How did you get into the keto world?
Dr. Ted Nieman.
Okay. Can you tell us a little about it? Like,
you don't know Dr. Ted Nieman?
Yeah, but I was just curious, like, what made you decide to go keto?
Oh, Dr. Nieman told me to. And you generally don't say no when Ted Nieman tells you to do something. So I bumped into, Dr. Nieman started following me on Twitter. Now, whenever a doctor follows me anywhere, I always go look them up because I'm like, why is a doctor following me?
Right.
I'm just this little person over here doing recipes. Why is this doctor following me? And if you've ever looked at his profile, you'll know that he follows like 3 people. And he started following me. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I went and looked him up, and I looked at his website, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. He's pretty much doing what I'm creating recipes for and creating cookbooks for and doing all this stuff for, a doctor that thinks like I do. This is awesome. And so we got into a conversation on Twitter, and around about the same time, I've had this lifelong drama with depression and bipolar 2 disorder. And a couple of years prior to that, I'd had a mental break, and life had gone horribly, horribly sideways. And I had had medications and psychiatrists and all of this for like 2 years. And I was still suicidal. And one day I just got really mad and said, nobody's asking the critical question. And the critical question is, why does Carrie have bipolar? Like, why? Nobody's asking that. Everybody's just looking at my symptoms and going, okay, let's try this drug to make the symptoms go away. Whereas I'm over here going, why don't we try to find out why I have bipolar so that I don't have bipolar anymore? How about that for an idea? And of course, everyone went, you're crazy. And I'm like, well, we know that, but okay, I'm going to fire you all. So I fired everybody, literally my whole medical team. I fired them all. And I said, I am going to find out why I have bipolar. And I started with genetics because it felt like it was the only finite thing, environment, 1 million different options, food, 1 million different options, all of these other things, variables. But your genetics are what your genetics are.
Right. So
I spat in a tube and sent it off to 23andMe, and I got my DNA file back. and I hit the jackpot right there. And I also met Ted Nieman at the same time. So like the universe was just like assembling all this awesomeness. And so I got chatting to Ted and said, could he help me unravel this DNA file that I had that I didn't know what to do with? And he said, well, you know, I'm not a geneticist, but I can have a look and I can see if I can help you. We had also just co-authored, we hadn't met, but we had co-authored 101 Keto Beverages cookbook. And wow. I said to him, hey, we published a book together. We should probably meet, right?
Aw, that's a really good idea.
And it turns out that his office was 11 miles from my home in Seattle. So I went to meet him. We had coffee, and I told him about my bipolar, and he said, I think I can help you. So I went to his office, and he said, I want to put you on a ketogenic diet. So up till that point, if you're a bit confused, up till that point, I'd been low carb with lots of non-starchy veggies,
right,
and not high fat. Mm-hmm. So kind of good amount of protein, low fat, lots of non-starchy veggies. So it was low carb, but it definitely wasn't keto. So that was where I was. But I went to see Dr. Nieman, and he said, I want you to do the ketogenic diet. And his reasoning was that the medication I was on at the time for my bipolar was called lamotrigine. Now, lamotrigine is an anti-seizure medication. And so Dr. Nieman's reasoning was that because the ketogenic diet was originally developed and proved to be extremely successful for helping children with seizures.
Yes.
And I was on an anti-seizure medication. It's like maybe that same diet will help you since the anti-seizure medications are helping you. So that's how I came to keto. I'd been low carb up to that point. That's how I came to keto. And then we unraveled my DNA, and there was a bunch of stuff we found there. And so I saw Dr. Nieman in July 2015. October 2015, we slowly tapered me off my lamotrigine over about 2 weeks, and then we took me off, and I've been completely unmedicated ever since then, and also completely free of any symptoms of bipolar.
That is incredible. And that your story back at KetoCon, and you've talked on Two Keto Dudes. If you guys don't know, she is also co-host of Two Keto Dudes.
I am the dudette.
You're the dudette. You're the coolest dude. But that really spoke to me because I don't think that we talk about this enough. I actually have suffered with clinical depression most of my adult life, and I have been medicated in the past. And one of the health benefits of keto is I have not had panic attacks. I have not had anxiety. I have not had social anxiety. Any of those symptoms have gone away as kind of a side effect of since I've been on the keto diet. So a lot of times we focus on the weight loss, but it's really, you know, all of the health benefits have been so incredible. And I was so excited to see you come out with holiday cookbook, because I think that the holiday season is like that last boundary of where I might go off plan, because we are so emotionally connected to the food of the holiday season. But at the same time, I don't want to go off of keto during the holidays because I don't want to go back to making myself emotionally, you know, vulnerable in those areas.
It is very hard for two reasons. One, for people who are new to keto, like when you think about a traditional Thanksgiving or traditional Christmas, it's just like there is nothing apart from the turkey. There's nothing even remotely like the horror of like, what am I going to eat? How am I not going to derail? And if you're very new to keto, it can seem completely overwhelming. Like there's no way I can navigate this without going off plan. And then, you know, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket. And what am I going to do? And then, as you say, there's also the emotional component of, you know, your grandma's pecan pie, and how can you say no, and all, and actually for us Brits it's kind of easier, because there's some things that just cannot be made keto, and mince pies and Christmas pudding are two of them. So we're just screwed. But but it's very, very hard emotionally for a lot of people. I know for me, the good times I remember about growing up were the 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year. The rest of the year was kind of sucky, but those 2 weeks were awesome, and mostly because of the food. So, and I think there's a lot of people that are so emotionally wrapped up in that, and it does make it super, super hard. Plus, since we're talking about mental health, a lot of people struggle a lot harder mentally over the holidays. And in America, with 2 of them back to back, it can be super, super hard for people with mental health issues or depression to navigate the holidays just that, without adding on, this Everest of a problem with, and what am I going to eat? That just, it makes it worse. Holidays are awesome and awful all at the same time.
So having your holiday recipes there, as well as the cookbooks that have soups in them, because this is the time of year I'm wanting to have soups, and then you have the holiday recipes. What are some of the things that you're like, we absolutely needed to have in this cookbook? What was the one of your things that you're like, we've got to have this for the holidays because people are wanting to have a keto recipe for this?
So I kind of had to cheat, because British and we don't do Thanksgiving at all. That's like not a thing for us. And Christmas, there's a few things that are similar, mostly the turkey and the cranberry sauce and the stuffing or dressing, whatever you call it. There's not much else that's the same. So I had to cheat, and I had to do a poll on Facebook and say, okay, if I'm going to write a holiday book, what, from an American standpoint, what has to be in it? Because I wanted to try and be as inclusive as I could. And again, sorry, Brits, Christmas pudding. There's that, no.
Not going to happen.
Mince pies, fruitcake, no, because the dried fruit, there's no replacement for the dried fruit. Anyway.
I told Rachel that if there was any chance I was going to go off keto for Christmas, it would be having a fruitcake. Like Costco used to have this incredible fruitcake. That was the only thing I ever wanted at Christmas time. So if there was anything I would eat, it would be a fruitcake. So I could understand that.
Yeah, my mother's fruitcake was legendary, and I can literally still taste it now, and it's like the best thing on earth. But there it is.
Not worth it for me anymore.
Right. And
she's 5,000 miles away, and she's so old I'm not sure she's baking anymore anyway. So. So there's one of the things about the holiday book that's different to all my other books is that it's got a little bit of everything. So my soup book is, strangely enough, full of soup.
Wow.
And the ice cream book, which was my first cookbook, is just ice creams and mix-ins for ice creams. Yes, coming soon. And then the crock pot book, that is almost, there's 2 desserts, but the rest of it is like main course meals. So this is and then the beverages is all, funnily enough, things to drink. So this is the book that a lot of people get started on simply because it has a little bit of everything. So there's breakfast suggestions, recipes for breakfast things for feeding a crowd and doing in advance so you don't have to get up and feed a crowd.
Yes.
Right.
There's entrees, there's appetizers, there's main courses, there's sides, there's desserts, there's beverages, and there's even a section at the back about what to do with your leftover turkey. There's a bunch of recipes in the back for leftover turkey. So for a lot of people, this is their favorite just because there's a little bit of everything in it. And a lot of people say they cook from it all year long, not just in November and December.
Cool.
So you had me cracking up when you were talking about making the cranberry sauce, and that as Americans, we need to have that jellied cranberry sauce that needs to be in the shape of the can. And
you watched my video. You must have watched my video.
And I was like, and at the moment I was like listening to it, I was in the grocery store because my mom sent me and said, oh my gosh, you know what I forgot? That can of jellied cranberry sauce, and your brother's gonna freak out if he doesn't see that can-shaped jelly. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm listening to this right now. And you're right, and I think, how many other things are we just sort of clinging to because we don't want to like change our holiday traditions, but we're really clinging to something that's less than, right? Because should I really be like, no, I don't want to change this to keto. I want to keep my jellied can-shaped food.
But it's so easy to make it keto jellied cranberry sauce, and if you get a can from something else and clean it out, you can make it in the shape of a can.
Yes.
Well, I was actually just looking at that recipe because the only way I've ever made cranberry sauce keto is the regular one, with little bits of cranberry in it. And it's good, and I enjoy my cranberry sauce, but I was always one of those jellied cranberry people, and I've tried making on my own because I'm good in the kitchen. I mean, you can usually figure out how to do recipes. And I really was trying to do it without adding in some pectin, without adding in, some gelatins and things like that. And then I was looking at your recipe and I'm like, there's 3 ingredients to this.
Right?
So I'm excited to try that for Christmas. I'm going to be trying it before Christmas, but I'm excited to try that.
There's videos for the jellied cranberry sauce and the whole berry cranberry sauce on YouTube, which they're public. So anyone watching, you can go to the Real Carrie Brown YouTube channel and go watch how they're done. But you too can have can-shaped keto cranberry jelly on your table.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so with that, we got a bunch of comments. First of all, where can everybody find you for YouTube? And I know you do a lot of stuff on Facebook.
CarrieBrown.com.
Okay.
Is if you go to carriebrown.com at CarrieBrown, in the top left corner there's a thing that says Carrie or something, and there's a drop down and it says where to find me, and if you click on that there'll be a link to the Two Keto Dudes podcast, the My Sugar Free Journey podcast, what else do I do? The Keto Life Support podcast that I do with Kim Howerton and the Berries. And there'll be links to my Facebook group, my Facebook page, my Instagram, my blah, blah,
Heather,
blah,
for
blah,
putting
blah.
that link in there.
The YouTube channel, all the things. So that's the place to find. That's the easiest place to go.
And you actually recently did a collaboration ebook with Kim Howerton too, right? Is that still available?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a program. When we launched it almost a year ago, it was an 8-week program, which has all the theory, all the how to, what keto is, all of that. But then it has 8 weeks of meal plans and all the recipes and a private Facebook group. We do live coaching calls throughout the program with everybody and videos. So that's a program, and we will be running it again. But we've tweaked it slightly. It's going to be 12 weeks now. We listened to our people and said what would make this better, and they said we loved it, but we felt like we needed an extra month, so we're making it 12 weeks. Enrollment for the next session is on the 19th of December, but the program actually starts, day one is Monday the 13th of January, because who is ready to start their new program on January 1st?
Right.
Nobody, because we've all been up all night and, whatever. And we wake up on the 1st and we're not ready and we go, but we're still holidaying and we want no. So,
yes,
so
I've
we
got
didn't
to sleep through until at least the 2nd or 3rd.
Right.
So we actually made the prep week that first week. So you have a week to prep. Everyone gets their program materials, the shopping list, the bill, all the things. And you have a week to organize yourself and get ready, and then we all start together on the 13th, and nobody feels left behind, and nobody feels like they failed before we've got going, and so there it is.
Brilliant.
Okay, so before we get into the comments, Carrie, what are we giving away to everybody who's watching today? And the way that we do the giveaway is they're going to go back to the replay of this, which goes up immediately after the live stream, and then they have until tomorrow's live stream at 5 o'clock to leave a comment and subscribe, and we're gonna have them go over to your website and take a look at stuff, and then we draw the winner from the comments tomorrow. So what are we giving away?
Okay, so one lucky or not, depending on how you feel about my recipes tonight, one lucky person will get a signed, I will write you a love note, a signed copy of Keto for the Holidays, and another lucky person will get a signed copy of the Keto Soup Bowl.
Awesome.
So we're going to do two winners. So we're going to do two winners. Two winners.
Yes.
So
Exciting.
now everybody's got a double chance to win. We're going to give away two different cookbooks. So we're going to we're going to do draw two people tomorrow. The very
I'll tell
first
you
one.
what, hang on.
Go ahead.
Two's not a good number. Please hold.
Okay.
Ooh.
So while Carrie is going and getting whatever she's getting, we're going to do the same thing. You're going to leave a comment down below on the replay. Remember, any of the things in the chat right now, don't transfer over to the comments. You got to go back to the replay, which comes up afterwards. And then you're going to leave the comment, and then we're going to pick the winners. The first one will be for the holiday book. The second one's going to be for the soup book. And what do you have,
And
Carrie?
the third one.
And third one.
It's going to be a signed copy of
Keto
101
101
beverages.
beverages.
Oh
Wow,
my
that is so awesome. Thank you so much, Carrie.
What a great way for 3 people to get started in the new year and have all scrumptious, yummy new recipes to use. So exciting.
So let's get into
hang
some.
on.
A lot of people are having comments. Go ahead.
Somebody wants to meet you all.
Okay.
Is it a kitty? Yay! Hello.
So this is Priscilla, and she's 7 months old. And if you follow me, she is collectively referred to as the babies, because I have a 6-month-old called Ermintrude.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, there she is. There's Priscilla.
So beautiful. Charity was one of our cats was with us yesterday. I'm wondering if I kept hearing her come back and forth, so she may be in here too. That would be neat if both the kitties could meet each other.
I have given up with trying to be professional and not having my pets, because it's just like. So on I think one of the Cranberry YouTube videos, you'll hear Zebedee, who's my elderly cat, yelling away in the background, just yelling and yelling. And then I think Priscilla kind of got a bit close, and I'm kind of, shoving at her with a box of aluminum foil. And, it's just like, what can you do?
They're part of life. We have an African gray, and a lot of times we just have to let him just walk around, just parrot in the kitchen.
If he's not sitting on his cage, he won't say anything.
No.
So we let him just fly around. So let's read some of these comments. So Chris from Keto Chow actually raw that he saw Dr. Ted without a shirt on him and said, "Yes, sir."
Well, sadly, I don't know if I should say this out loud, he's a married man, but sadly, when I went to see him in his office, he did actually have a white coat on.
Oh.
Kavita said that somebody at the Keto Chow meetup last month made your sour cream and chive biscuits, and they were the best keto biscuits they'd ever had since starting. They actually had to go back for seconds.
So whoever gets this has the recipe for the sour cream chive biscuit. There's biscuit recipes in the soup book too.
Ooh.
So here they are. The infamous sour cream chive biscuits.
I may have to get the soup one
heck
because
yes.
we ordered the slow cooker one because Rachel never wants me to use a slow cooker. She's got a fear of me turning that thing on and leaving the house, and I'm like, you just gotta let me do it.
So Rachel,
yes.
In the front of the crock pot book, there is a little table, and it tells you times and temperatures if you want to do the recipes on the stovetop or in the oven. So you don't have to do them in the crock pot.
Well, she doesn't want me to leave the oven on either. So.
Well, no, but I feel so much safer.
The oven version takes 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. I'm the cook. Rachel doesn't cook.
I'm
teaching her how to cook.
Cooking is just a kind of a ratio between time and temperature.
Awesome.
If the temperature's low, you just do it for 8 hours, and if the temperature's high, you do it for 10 minutes, and it all works out the same.
That's awesome. You never see that in a cookbook or in a recipe. Here's different variations.
Yeah.
So Tara actually wrote that keto has helped with her depression, but hiking is the only thing that really helps her with her PTSD. She said if she's not hiking, or medicated, she wouldn't survive.
So ask Rachel. Ask me. I can ask Rachel. Rachel, what have you been diagnosed with?
Clinical depression. and I was medicated for
No. I mean the lady who made the
for
comment.
Tara.
Oh, that was Tara.
Oh, Tara.
Yeah, Tara.
PTSD.
Okay, PTSD. Okay, that may not work then. I would still, anyone that has a mental health issue, I would highly recommend you get your DNA done. Because if you have, the thing that made the biggest difference for me was that I found out that I had a genetic mutation called MTHFR, which is not the acronym for something rude, but you often want to say it anyway, because it is. Anyway, so if you have MTHFR, one of the things for me that was true was that I had a lifelong deficiency in B vitamins because I'm not able to methylate, because I have this genetic mutation, which means that I can't methylate. Oh. When you eat B vitamins, they are not in a form that we can use. So we have to methylate them before we can use them. Now, I can't methylate. So I'm eating B vitamins and I'm not using them because I can't. So I'd had this lifelong deficiency of B vitamins. And why that's important with mental health is that the number one role of B vitamins is neurotransmitter health.
Yes.
So literally my brain cells, my neurons had never received adequate nutrition in order to work properly. There was another bunch of stuff I found out genetically too, like my dopamine and serotonin uplifters were broken in about 40 different places. Mm-hmm. I'm genetically intolerant to gluten. The MTHFR also means that I can't detox very well. So anything toxic builds up in me instead of getting cleaned out like normal people. So if you add all of those things up, it was, at some point my brain was going to go sideways. In my case, it just showed up looking like bipolar 2 disorder. I highly encourage anyone that has a mental health issue to send off for their DNA and get your DNA report back, because it may be for you as simple as adding methylated B vitamins to your diet along with the keto.
What great advice.
Now, somebody actually asked, that's not something that comes with the ancestry DNA things, right? They have to do a separate DNA test.
No. So, and I ordered mine from 23andMe. But here's the big tip is you only need the cheap one. And I know it's confusing because they call it, Ancestry plus Health. That you don't need that. You just need the Ancestry. Both of them have your DNA file.
Okay.
The Ancestry plus Health has all these different reports that 23andMe produce. That's what you're paying for. They're useless.
That's interesting.
So go to 23andMe and get the cheap one.
Okay.
You get your file and then go to carriebrown.com and type DNA into the search box and click on that document that comes up, and it takes you step by step what to do with your DNA report and what I did and blah, 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 blah. So step by step, because so many people ask me, okay, so I've got my DNA, now what do I do? So it's all there for you, because I want it to be easy. I don't want you to get lost in this quagmire of medical stuff and not knowing where to go, or wasting time finding out all this stuff when I've already found it out.
Thank you.
That would be my recommendation for anyone struggling with mental health issues.
Cool. Awesome. Pat said Rachel seems the opposite of being depressed. I thought you were the antidote for depression.
Bless your heart. But I think that's a lot of times what happens. I think that a lot of people who usually struggle with depression issues usually are people think of them as like the life of the party. There's a lot going on there, I
fake it till you make it.
Exactly. Like you're just trying to keep your head above water, and there's so much going on inside of your head that you just you try to be, I don't know, you're just working really hard to appear normal, whatever normal is. And a lot of times you think if you make somebody laugh, it will, distract from them getting to know the real you and then being turned off by the fact that,
right.
you've got issues.
people find depression, people who do not suffer find it incredibly difficult to know what to do with people who do. So I just found it easier to, when I was out and about, when I was at work, when I was, out socially, you just fake it because it's just easier. However, it's exhausting to have to pretend all the time, but it was easier than making everybody around you never want to be around you because they don't know what to do with you when they're depressed. So then they tend to just not be around you. And it was easier to just fake it in public and then go home and collapse because you're so exhausted from the faking it. But, you made it through and it kind of kept the status quo easier.
Absolutely truth.
Joe actually said that all these books are great. He has them in ebooks.
Yes.
That's the other thing. If you don't want a hard copy, some people want hard copies and some people want them digital. I actually like a hard copy. I mean, it's great that you can go into the internet and find any recipe you want, but there's something about having that physical book that I can drag into the kitchen without my iPad.
I mean, I still have a library card. I use my library card every single week. So, I need to touch it and hold it. But there's a tremendous advantage, too, to having the ebooks available because you can take your grocery list with you. You can use it on any device that you have.
I actually have a lot, and I prefer physical books too. I like, sitting on the couch and looking at pictures, and you can't do that. Well, you can with a device, but it's not the same. Right. But I have a lot of people who actually have both because they like to read the book, but when they're at the store, they love being able to just pull it up and have the shopping list right in front of them. Or if they're away, I actually had a gal who was down in Florida who said, I'm so thankful that I have the digital ones because I'm not home where my cookbook is, but I can still make my friend's ice cream because I have my book with me. Exactly. Or I have the digital one on my phone. But the main reason I did the digital ones was because, I self-publish. So you can thank Amazon for the price of these. And I did the digital ones because they're so much more affordable than the hard copies. So that was keto is a life change and it can feel expensive to start. And so I wanted to give the most people the opportunity to be able to get the great recipes without having to spend the amount of money that the Amazon charges for the physical books.
That is awesome.
Debbie actually wrote, because of her discussion with you on the topic of depression, she took the 23andMe test and found out a ton of great information. She said Carrie can cook, but she's also super smart. Eileen said, I just bought the Ancestry one. It was bizarre. The 23andMe was looking and it wouldn't ship to New Jersey, so now she's bummed.
What? That's crazy. Is there some weird thing about DNA testing in New Jersey?
I don't know. Diana said she's old school. She likes the physical book. She's scared that her tablets and her phones will go down, and then she won't have all her recipes. I get that way too. Sometimes I worry about everything you have, all of our photos and everything we have. They're all stored on the cloud. What happens if the cloud dissipates?
I will have no pictures of my children. It will be like they do not exist.
But you have everything on your hard drive too, right?
Not my photos. I don't. Everything else I do, but...
So up until 2.5 years ago, I worked at Microsoft in corporate America. For 17 years, I worked at Microsoft. And you can read into this what you will, but I am backup girl. I've got everything on my Mac. Yes, I've got a Mac now that I'm no longer at Microsoft, but I got everything on my hard drive. I've got everything up in iCloud. I've got everything up on a backup cloud service, another one. I've got everything on...
I'm the same. The only thing, again, that I don't have backed up is my photos, but my computer, I have my computer, which is then backed up onto a RAID, which is then backed up onto another hard drive. There's 4 backups of everything. And when I got our new MacBook, they're like, do you want to store everything in the cloud and it doesn't ever get stored on your computer? I'm like, No, because what happens if something happens to the Apple Cloud?
That's me too. But I have Apple, but then I have the name is escaping me. Crash Plan. I have Crash Plan too, which continuously backs up my machines 24/7. So I'm sitting here making changes and it's backing up.
It up.
So I've got that and iCloud and all the other things too, because I know.
Carrie, you're also a photographer. Have you taken the photos for a lot of your recipes?
All of them. All
Heather actually just said that Carrie's an amazing photographer.
Amazing.
That is like the biggest thing that we do our recipes for our website and people are like, oh, can you do an Eid cookbook with all your recipes? And I'm like, I am the worst photographer in the world. Like the photos on our recipes look horrible.
Cringy.
And I'm like, why would I put this into a book? And then just last week, I discovered something called a light box.
Never seen one of those before. It is the coolest thing ever.
I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
So, and I actually, since Chris, is Miriam there as well? Hello, Chris, Bear.
I don't know if they're still on. Chris said he was going to cook.
I actually did Miriam and Holly from Keto Chow and Chef Taffy Elrod came for 5 days in May and shot keto videos, and I did fancy stills of all. So if you go to the Keto Chow website, half of the fancy pictures they now have their Keto Chow recipes, I shot those as well.
Oh, so I'm looking here. It says, oh, Chris just finished poppers and Miriam is here.
I am. And then Miriam Taffany came back in October for another 5 days, and we did it all again. They're the funniest people, the Keto Chow people. They're like favorites. And I'm not just saying that because they're there. They really are.
Chris and Miriam are like just two
the best.
Awesome people. We got to meet them. We talked to them a little bit before KetoCon. We got to meet them at KetoCon, and I mean, they're just incredible people. Incredible people. Mm-hmm. I love everything about them. I love their company. I mean, I love the way they treat people. And I mean, just incredible.
My favorite was when we went to KetoCon and you could see Miriam going to all of the vendors saying, like, tell me more about your products so that maybe if we don't have something that somebody would really like, maybe we can send them to you. I mean, it's just their heart for others just blows me away.
Yeah, they turned up at my house to do shoot this video photo fest for 5 days with treats for my cats.
Oh.
Like, I know, right?
Well, I knew I was going to like that when we were at KetoCon. And Chris, and again, we talked to each other like once via Instagram chat. And he was like, hey, I got a bunch of cherry black barbecue and like we still have a ton of it left over. Why don't you come over to our house for dinner? And I'm like, what? And we hung out with them. And I mean, it was just...
I could spend the next 30 minutes rattling off unbelievable things that Miriam and Chris and Holly's husband Steve have done for me over the last 18 months since I met them. Just they're unbelievable people.
Now, are you going to
we are.
Omaha?
We're going to be no, Omaha no, but Will and Carl, the other dude, we're all going to be on stage together in Utah.
Well, we'll be at Utah. We're going to Omaha, so we get to hang out with Chris, Miriam, and Heather and Phil at Omaha, and then we'll be back again at Utah. And then, of course, we're going to go to KetoCon. But I'm excited about Utah. I'm excited we get to hang out with you a little bit.
And we get a hug, right? Do I get a hug?
Everybody gets hugs. It's mandatory.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially people who don't want to hug me. They have to have two.
I know. I have to make it weird.
Miriam is actually on Chris's YouTube account pretending to be Chris.
Oh, okay.
And she said Sammy says hi to his crush.
Oh, Sam's my favorite.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions before Carrie gets off, go ahead and put them in, and then we can ask Carrie them. Who is Kavita is going to be in Utah.
A lot of people getting excited to see you in Utah.
People are very excited to see you.
I'm Utah. So Utah has a huge place in my heart because my godchildren all live in Utah. I have twin baby girls and a boy, their brother. They all live in Utah. So I got to see them this year because I came out to record a podcast live on stage at Low Carb Utah this year. And I'll be coming back next year to do the same. And also MC. I think I'm MCing as well or something. I don't even know what. But it's going to be awesome and you should all come because Utah is beautiful.
So what is the next adventure in cooking? Are you starting to work on any new cookbooks on the horizon?
I got so much coming, I don't know where to start. So I randomly decided one day in the middle of September that I was going to run a masterclass for the Keto for the Holidays cookbook. Oh, wow. And so it's a private Facebook group and there's videos of me making all the things and we do live Q&As every week or every other week so that everyone can, and I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know how it was going to go. And it's been like the best thing ever. So there'll be a lot more masterclasses coming because people just, their cooking game, apparently, according to them, their cooking game is off the charts compared to what it was 2 months ago. So that makes me super, super happy because if people can feed themselves with delicious food and have fun, they will stick to it. It makes it a lot harder to stick to keto if those things aren't true.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You can't just do bacon and eggs for your entire life. Like that's it. It's nice to know like how to do some recipes, and it makes for a fun date night. Learn to cook something and cook together. Oh my gracious, how fun.
But I had mom wants to know if you have an alternative for like a phyllo dough.
No, not yet. And so the irony is that I'm a pastry chef by trade, but the thing I don't focus on in keto is desserts. I do some desserts. There's some desserts in here. Of course, I'm most famous for ice creams, but what we really, and treats are great every once in a while, but you shouldn't exist on treats. So what, in my mind, what we all need is like food that we can eat every day and be delicious and not get bored. So phyllo is on my list, but I haven't got there because that's kind of treats and desserts is like off to the side for me. That's why, which is weird because I'm a pastry chef.
It's funny. Chris is actually telling me to have Carrie try to make my pie crust that I made for the recipe challenge, the Keto Chow recipe challenge, which is the simplest pie crust in the world. It's just got a lot of butter. It's coconut flour, a couple of eggs, and a stick of butter.
Butter makes everything better.
And he's like, wait, so Chris is telling me to tell the pastry chef how to make a pie crust.
That
doesn't work, Chris.
I don't think so.
Chris is like that. He can be ornery.
He's very ornery. I think that's why I like him, though.
Well, he lives with like 58 women.
Oh, I know.
It's an estrogen train, that's for sure. I have the opposite. It's all testosterone at my house.
Okay, so Wendy wants to know how difficult are your recipes to make because she's not a cook.
They're easy, and that's one of the things that I focus on. I try and think about all the things. I try and think about budget. I try and think about ease. The ice cream, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people say, why is there no eggs in your ice cream? And the reason for that is because eggs are awesome. Like eggs are like the perfect food. But if you make ice cream from an egg custard, it requires cooking and it's kind of tricky and it can go wrong quite easily. And I just want people to have delicious ice cream. So I created all the ice cream recipes without eggs so that you don't have to do. So I took the tricky bit away so that even people who have never been in a kitchen before can make fantastic keto ice cream that tastes like Ben and Jerry's and be successful. So I do try and make my recipes as easy as possible. And in fact, I have a ton of recipes that I've made, but I've never published because I don't think they're easily recreatable enough by everybody.
Wow.
And that's,
makes
to me,
sense.
that's
you.
awesome. Like
Yes.
Heather actually wrote, so they're so easy, even Rachel can make it. So if you don't know, Carrie, we actually run a series on our channel called So Easy, Even Rachel Can Make It, because she really can't cook.
The worst.
Like I have like awesome Le Creuset pans, like she'll make them no longer non-stick. I mean, literally doesn't know much, and she's slowly learning how to do things. So we always try to create recipes that are just super easy. Like I can make complex recipes, but can the average person make a complex recipe?
If you could also just, like, I know that you said, I was so upset. I was like, man, she can't sew. Like, that's the other thing I can't do. I can't sew anything.
Yeah, I can't sew. I can't even sew a button on. Well, I can, but it won't work.
No.
It'll be in the wrong place. It'll be too tight. I cannot sew.
If the kids lose a button on their pants, we have to just throw the pants out. Like, they're just done.
Right. But food, I can do stuff with food, and I can shoot things as long as they're not people.
Awesome.
Yeah,
My people photography sucks.
I love that because, you know, we've always told people when you first start on keto, try to stay away from keto treats because you want, you know, it's there for the future so that you can make this a lifestyle, but you really want to just try to make some simple things, but you also want to be able to have those nicer desserts, nicer foods like, you know, nicer chicken dishes or things like a cranberry sauce or something like that. But you need it to be easy because if it's not easy, you're not going to make this your lifestyle.
No.
Right. So the caveat to that, and I agree, however, there are some people for who, if it wasn't for the fat bombs, or it wasn't for my chocolate rum truffles, or it wasn't for that little sweet thing, they literally wouldn't have been able to stay on it. Right. So there's some people who don't do treats yet, do treats once you're down the road, but there are other people for who it's the reverse. They need the treat to stay on it, but then they totally lose interest once they've gone over that hump. And either way is fine. You know, whatever gets you there is what you should do.
Yeah, and Carrie Brown's cookbooks have it all. It's the whole package.
I'm trying to figure out, I think Miriam is back on the keto chill thing. She said Carrie's recipes are really easy and delicious. Or I think this is Chris, and Miriam is still on her account, his account. Because then Chris actually wrote, my first Carrie Brown cookbook was the holidays one. Then Miriam won like 3 of them. Okay, so they're back and forth. I can't figure out who's talking here.
Anyway, the answer to the question is, obviously there are some recipes that are a little bit more complicated than others. Some of the mix-ins for the ice cream take a little bit more time. But I've tried to make the recipes as easy. You know, I've made them and then gone, okay, how could I get the same result, making that easier? So, you know, like the ice cream with no eggs, that's kind of how I roll. That's what I try and do.
So the same person who asked if they were easy, could a teenage girl learn how to cook from your cookbooks?
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
That's awesome.
That's really awesome. Because again, if you don't have like things other than bacon and eggs and steak, there's a good chance a lot of people are not going to stay keto. There are some people that could just eat steak all day long, 3 meals a day, and be super happy. There's other, like me, I want variety. Rachel, she could just eat a dozen eggs every single day and be totally happy. I want variety, and I don't, you know, I want to be able to know that, hey, once in a while I can go have a nice chili, or once in a while I can have like a, you know, some kind of like a fancier salmon dish. So to know that they're easy to make and like there's a lot of variety, that's what makes it so easy to stay keto.
And this is the thing that you want to, if you know, starting with the new year, get the kids using these cookbooks with mom in the kitchen, with dad in the kitchen. Get them used to using like these great ingredients, these whole foods, and just trying new things. It's a fun thing to do together as a family.
Right. No, it really is. And that was what amazed me about the masterclass, was that so many people just came back and said, I hate cooking, or, you know, I don't like it, or since I went keto, I don't like it because everything fails and it's so hard. And then I have all these people going, oh my goodness, I love cooking again. And so that was why I keep talking about the masterclass, because I finally feel like I've made a tangible difference in people's experience, because they're now having success and they feel like rock stars in the kitchen, and they're no longer terrified, and they're trying new things, and it's become more a part of what they do, and that means that they're going to stay on
Yes.
longer.
Yes.
Gail
Which
wants
is
to
the
know
goal.
if you can use an ice cream maker with your ice creams, which I actually want to know the same thing. Are they designed to be no churn, or your ice cream?
No, so all ice cream, no matter the recipe, all ice cream will be better if you churn it in a machine.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to know that since we have the machine.
There are recipes out there that sell themselves on being no churn. Your ice cream will be better if you churn it. That no churn recipe will be better if you churn it. And if you're looking at me thinking, wow. So let me point out, I was the ice cream queen in the non-keto world before I went keto. So I am an expert in ice cream. I was making regular ice cream, thousands of gallons, I'm not exaggerating, thousands of gallons of regular ice cream before I went keto, which is one of the reasons why the Ice Cream Scoop was like, it was the obvious first book for me. Apart from the fact that ice cream is one of those things that is incredibly difficult to do well on keto. So there was a big demand for it. Plus, ice cream's my thing. So all ice creams will be better churned in a churner. However, if you don't have the space or the budget, or your husband is refusing to let you have yet one more piece of equipment in your kitchen, if you go to carriebrown.com and type in churner, a little post will pop up called How to Make Ice Cream Without a Churner. So the directions are there for doing it without a churner. However, the texture and consistency will not be as good as if you churn it in a machine.
Wow.
So please get a churner, and you don't need the fancy expensive one. If you have the budget, that's awesome. But the little $43 Cuisinart ICE 21 has made all of the ice creams. I made all of the ice creams for all of my books and all the things in that little $43. Well, actually, I have 5 of them. But yeah, that little Cuisinart ICE 21, that's what I made them all in. Perfect ice cream. So you don't have to get the big fancy one unless you have the budget and the space and a husband that allows you to.
That is so awesome.
Or a wife.
Yeah, right.
Or
Yeah,
a wife that allows you to. Whatever your situation is.
But
or your cat, in my case.
I'm the gadget person.
I think that the ice cream maker is the best investment of 2019. I had no idea how much I was going to love it until you said, please let us get an ice cream churner. And I was like,
Chris.
all right. So,
it is, and I know my situation is weird and different, but my ice cream churner is hands down by a million miles my most used piece of kitchen equipment.
man, it just makes life good.
Okay, so Carrie, Heather actually wrote that you taught her that purse bacon is a thing.
Yes, so when I'm road tripping, which is this last year, all but one of them, it's been to a conference or a business thing or to speak or whatever. But whether I'm road tripping for me or when I say me, that's landscape photography. If I'm shooting landscape photography road trip or a talking somewhere conference road trip, I Facebook a lot. One of the reasons I do that is because I travel alone. And so that's if she disappears, we know where she last was because of her Facebook wall. So that's one of the ways I kind of just keep connected with the world when I'm out in the middle of nowhere. And I commented that the other day, actually, I went up to Maine for the first time to a keto event that a nurse had put on, and she invited me to go. So I went up and I got stuck in traffic. And so I was... Because, Siri will post a Facebook for you before you'll scream at me for texting while driving.
Right.
Siri will do it for you. You can just go, hey, Siri, post on Facebook, and he'll say...
Okay, I found this on the web.
Wow.
So he'll say, what would you like me to say? And then anyway, I was sat in traffic, and I posted on Facebook, I'm in a traffic jam, and I don't even have any purse bacon. So that's...
Wow. So A-Pal actually wrote, I just bought an ice cream machine, so thank you for validating my recent ice cream machine purchase.
Yes.
Kat actually wanted to know what is a good machine, so I will find out the one from you, and I'll put a link to that down in the description. And also, if you go over to our YouTube channel, to our website, krazyketos.com, if you go to our favorite things on Amazon, we have a link to the one that Chris suggested me. That one's got a compressor in it. It is a little bit more money. But what I like about it, for us anyway, is the fact that it can make a batch and then make another batch right after. If you're, just one person or maybe two people, the ones with the little ice things and stuff where you stick them in the freezer are fine. But when you have a house with 4 and 5 people, sometimes it's nice to make multiple batches. And that's what I like about the compressor
I think
one.
the driving force behind us getting that ice cream maker is because Joe was tired of not getting ice cream, because he'd make my batch and then be without.
You got to wait 24 hours for that ice thing in the freezer.
And I guess because I have 5... that I never noticed, because I always have one. I always keep my bowls in the freezer. But but just to be clear, I don't want anyone to feel like they have to spend £250.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to get the one that you have and put that link down below as well.
I have tested all the churners extensively. The baby $43 one with the bowl you put in the freezer, the ice cream is indistinguishable from the compressor. The only reason you would want a compressor machine is if you want to make multiple flavors or enough for 100 people all at the same time. There's the only, they are not better. They don't make better ice cream. They simply allow you to make a lot uptime, back to back to back to back to back, which the little one doesn't, because you have to refreeze the bowl between churnings. That's the only difference.
So you know what how we're gonna wrap this up, Carrie, is I was gonna ask you, what recipe have you created that you are like most proud of? I know it's a lot to ask, but do you have one that you're like, that is the one that like I'm the most proud of, keto recipe?
What did I call it? It was there's so many. Like when I made the first cheese scones that I ever made, I cried, because I was like, they're just like my mother's, only they've got no flour in them. Anyway, but the one that comes to mind that made me cry was when I did the keto Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia, because that is my favorite flavor ice cream. And I was like, I'm going to see how close I can get to it. And when I took that first scoop out and I tried it, I cried, because I don't think you could get it any closer to the Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia than I got it, and it's keto. So that would be my pick.
Is that one in the book?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know that was supposed to be the last question, but I do have one question, because I know a lot of our subscribers are going to ask this later. I know most of your ice cream recipes use xylitol. Can you substitute allulose for xylitol?
Yes, you can. You can. However, and remember, I'm the ice cream queen, so it has to be perfect. It's good. It's not quite as good as xylitol. So if you don't have an issue with xylitol and you don't have dogs, I would really stick with the xylitol. If you have issues with xylitol, gut issues, some people do, or you have dogs, allulose. However, every day if you eat the ice cream quickly, because there's a ton of you'd eat them all up, that's good. But the longer it stays in the freezer, the harder it gets. So it gets progressively harder the longer it's frozen. Plus, the texture is not quite the same as xylitol. If you want to get a better texture, leave out half an ounce of xylitol and replace it with half an ounce of vegetable glycerin. And then it's as indistinguishable from xylitol.
Awesome.
That is amazing.
Well, thank you very much for telling me, because I know that we have a dog, and we have a big dog. She weighs over 100 pounds.
She's a giant.
And she likes to lick the bowl.
It's basically Noah's Ark over here. It's like anybody if you're furry or feathered, you're welcome. So.
I have the cat edition of Noah's Ark at my house.
Ooh, I love that.
I did want to say that there is I have this thing called the Getting Started Special, which is all 5 of my cookbooks on digital, and it's get 3, so 2 are free. You basically get 2 of the 5 free. So I'll send you a link to that.
So that was your Black Friday or your Cyber Monday special, right? That you only ran for one day.
No, the one day thing was the 20% off all the single
okay.
books. I've never done that before.
Okay.
But I'll send you a link.
So this is buy 3 and you get 2 for free.
Yeah, and it's only because I can't discount or bundle the physical books because Amazon sell them, not me. So there's nothing I can do about those. So, but let me find you and I'll send you the link. So if anyone is interested in getting the books,
we will put a link in the description for
that is awesome.
I would love you to try them for the smallest cost. And this
thank
is
you so much.
You get 2 of the books free with this link. Is there somewhere I can put it?
If you're on the YouTube thing, you could put it in the chat. If you're actually on our thing.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
I just sent it to you, so you can post it wherever you deem it appropriate.
Yeah, I will put it down in the description for the replay. This way, everybody can.
Yeah,
go
because
and get it
they'll
there.
lose the chat.
Well, Carrie, we really appreciate you spending an hour with us. I cannot wait to get to hang out with you when we get to Utah.
Yeah, we have to plan in advance though, because the conferences get a bit crazy.
Yeah,
and
we will definitely. I'm sure we will be hanging out with Chris and Miriam and you and everybody else. So Rachel's going to finish up. She's written a song for the 12 days of keto. She's doing the 12 days of keto. She's got a song.
All right.
So she's going to finish off with her song.
As long as I don't have to sing.
No, I don't sing either. So
here we are on the 8th day of keto. 2 crazy ketos gave away Carrie Brown cookbooks, Lolly's cookie clusters, rich and chocolatey keto bars, an orange keto crate, Alterna sweet sauces, Chris and Miriam's keto chow, perfect keto goodies, and a keto coach ketone meter. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Guys, thank you very much for joining us on the 12 Days of Keto. I know it was a little bit different than what we've had for the other 7 days, but we were so honored to be able to talk to Carrie. Make sure you go over to the replay and leave a comment. Go check out Carrie's website, carriebrown.com. It's got her whole stories.
Do yourself
it's got
a
links
favor.
For her, all of her different classes and everything. She's got lots of free recipes on there.
Yes.
It's just an awesome website. Make sure you go check out her Facebook. She's constantly in her Facebook. One of the very few people who are actually in their group on a regular basis, like commenting and answering people and everything else.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate all of you guys. We love all you guys, and we will see you all tomorrow.